So we've got to talk. We got to talk about rubber to meet in the road kind of thing. Cliche, but it's true. But Stan Williams is joining us, and he is the supervisor from Dual Brand Motorsports. And you got two brands underneath you guys. Probably most people have heard those brand names, but the tire conversation is important when it comes to EVs, and you guys are working on that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, tires are one of the most important things that you need for your vehicle because it's what your car's sitting on, and it gets you from point A to point B. You're
not going anywhere without them.
Exactly.
So. Well, but what technology-wise, most people just think rubber, tire, but that's really not the case. There's a lot of things that can be developed out as part of the process for materials, how it works with a certain type of vehicle that has a certain type of torque, things like that. You guys are working on all that.
Yeah, so we created a EV tire or EV specific tire that's it's called the FK460 Silent Core. So basically, it has the roller resistance that everybody's looking for. It gives you the longevity and all that types of things that everybody's looking for an EV. It has the performance, it has the grip, and it'll last. For your day-to-day operations,
Well, and that's something that I know I've seen over the years in the EVs I've had is sometimes even the rubber from the factory that you get with an EV, you're like, well, that didn't last as long as I wanted it to.
Not at all. I mean, when you think about an EV, it's a slightly heavier car. It's a lot of torque that comes into play. So your tire is even working harder on an EV. So the development's got to be a little bit beyond what you guys have done before.
Right. So one thing, too, everybody's like, well, I want a tire that has the grip or the traction. What you think, okay, you make a 200 tread wear tire or less grip, well, it's not going to last this long. But then you get something that's a little bit harder, which will last longer, but you won't have the performance that you need. So with our tire, it's kind of a mixture of both. It has the grip and it has the performance, and it's going to last through everything that you want to do, because sitting here at the booth too, like the average mileage that we're getting is 20,000 miles per tire. And like you said, like it came from the factory, and it's like, well, that didn't last long. And one of the things, some manufacturers are kind of designed that way.
Right.
To where you have to go change your tires after a certain amount of miles.
It's like IKEA for tires. It's like, yeah, you'll need a new one of those, and trust me, real short amount of time. Well, and to that point too, is this also requires a lot of R&D from your guys' side. EVs have now been in market for again mass market. We're talking 10 plus years now. There's a lot of research that's gone into that. But what is the actual amount of time? Can you speak to that for starting from we got to resolve this. You've got to get the vehicles. You've got to get the testing done. There's a lot of chemistry, I'm assuming, that goes into what the mix is to make that rubber compound the way that it needs to work. What is that process like?
I don't know off the top of my head, but I would say it's easily a couple years to design one tire. Just like you said, with the testing and the road noise, and say like, okay, let's make this small change. Will this work? Build the tire. It may not work. Now it's back to the drawing board. So it's hard, and then the machines are, thousands of dollars for one tire, So it's not an overnight process. It takes a little bit of time to get, all this stuff made up and developed and stuff like that. So it takes, I would say, at least 3 to 4 years for one tire.
That's incredible, because again, at the end of the day, it's got to be tested. But then to your point, once it's in market, you're already seeing that you've got that extra longevity. You said it's like near 20,000 or more miles for a set.
So what we're getting from all the consumers now is I need a tire that lasts longer than 20,000 miles. Yeah. That's been the average, 20 to 30,000 miles. Our tire is 50,000 miles.
Whoa, okay.
So
now you have my attention.
That's a lot higher than 20.
Yeah, but we also tell them too, it's also how you're driving, how if you're keeping up on your proper tire maintenance, because a lot of people, they just put the tires on the car and just go.
Yeah, no alignment. They don't even look at a camber. They're just kind of like, okay, it's fine. But next thing you know, they're calling you saying, why is the steel belt showing on the inside of my tires? It's like, well, bro, you're like really are you going for a stance look? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Well, most people don't know any of that type of stuff. They just most people like tire's a tire, right? But the technology does matter when it comes to EVs.
It sure does, and especially knowing that you have a performance division, like a motorsports division. How much of that extreme performance need goes to inform the day-to-day tires that you guys make?
I think with our motorsports background, that kind of is tied into all of our tires. So all of our motorsports departments, there's 3 different departments, and we are all enthusiasts. We all do some type of motorsports driving. So that kind of helps us when it comes to talk about the tires as well, because we've used these tires, you know, day in and day out. We use them on our own personal cars and stuff like that. So for us to be able to come here and talk about this, it just helps, you know. But like having a big motorsports background, you know, a lot of that technology is tied into these tires because, you know, it's the performance, the grip, and the reliability of the tire too, you know. So all that is factored into making these tires.
Well, yeah, you're living with the product.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys do passenger vehicles, you do motorcycles. Anything else that goes into your division, like aside from that?
So we have products ranging from, like you said, motorcycles to passenger vehicles, all the way up to semi trucks, and you know, so that's our TBR brand. You know, so we kind of make everything under the sun that you can think of.
Well, on the semi-truck piece too, are you testing right now? I mean, electric semis are coming, medium and heavy-duty, electric trucks. I'm assuming you can translate some of what you've learned on the light-duty vehicle up into that technology as well over time, because I'm sure the wear and tear potentially is even more so on that.
Right. So, I mean, I think our guys are just constantly like looking, because like even myself, you know, I'm constantly looking for the next best thing, or like, what can I do to improve this and make it better? So I know our engineers are out there day in and day out and looking at like what's up and coming. So I think, you know.
Well, this is all aftermarket we're talking about too. Do you guys have any OEM relationships you're building out to set the stage for these being tires people will get from the factory?
I know we do have a few OEMs that we do come on, like Toyota for one, Jeep. I should know these things. That's sad, you know. But
it's a point that a lot of people, again, they think just tire is tire, but they don't even think about tire brands oftentimes. If you're in motorsports, you're thinking about that constantly, right?
Yeah.
But if you're driving an EV, you go and buy it, you drive for a couple of years, you're like, I got to go to the tire store. These are things that they kind of learn in the moment, right?
Right.
So your being here at Expo is really about kind of setting the stage for a future customer, I would guess.
Future customer, and then just to kind of educate people as well, because when somebody's buying a new tire, they don't think, like, I need a tire that's going to give me the grip that I need in a wet condition. They just give me the cheapest tire that you got.
Oh, yeah, that happens all the time.
And that's why we're here. We're here to educate, because it's not just give me the cheapest tire. Like, you know, you're driving around with your family all day, every day, and say you get in a severe condition and you have tires that, you know, don't have the grip and you're slipping and sliding all over the place. Then it's like, okay, what do I do now? Versus like buying something that has the grip and the performance and all that, you know, like it's one less thing to worry about. You have that peace of mind that every time I get in this car, no matter where I go, no matter what type of conditions, my car is going to get me there safely, and I don't have to worry about it.
Well, it's peace of mind, really. I mean,
Exactly.
That's really what it is. So how long have you been with, again, the Dual Brand Motorsports brand and Falken?
Well, I've been with Falken Tires for 5 years. I did Dual Brand Motorsports back in 2022, and then I recently just got this position, or came back to this position last year, actually.
But you got into the brand of Falken, and I mean, you said, hey, man, I drive. I'm into motorsports too, right?
Well, I have a background of racing.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, here we go. So
here we go.
I used to work in a series called Formula Drift. I started when
Good old
I
FD.
was
Holy
good old
cow.
FD. So I started when I was about 18, 19 years old.
So were you, driver on team for like build out of the vehicles?
So I was a mechanic.
Throwing things at Ken Gucci, like popping his tires when he's trying to get by you? Like, what was going on?
Yeah. So I was a mechanic for a certain amount of years, and then I became the crew chief of the team. So I worked for one driver for 7 years, and then I transitioned over to another driver for 2.5 years. And that driver happened to be sponsored by Falken, but I knew the Falken guys from back then when I got started, you know. So just working with the second driver, that kind of got my foot in the door. You know, it built a better relationship with the guys over at Falken. So from there, it was just like, hey, like, I like how you work. I see the thing that you're doing. Would you like to come, you know, work for Falken? Of course.
Why not?
Why not?
No, I mean, but everybody kind of has an inception story of how they got into this space, right? And oftentimes the motorsports piece is a big part of that. One of the things about, I mean, Expo as an event, I mean, a lot of the people, the founder of Expo, again, I met him 25 years ago, VJ, and again, his background is the tuner world, and that's what he got into long ago. And then he had a vision for, you know what, we could take a lot of what we learned from that space and make an EV event that really gravitates that. And it's starting to bring in a lot of these people that were in the motorsports world into this space. It's kind of fun. I mean, Randy, good old Randy here from Expo. I mean, again, same thing. Long story, and long story about how he's been in this space for a long time too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're talking about it earlier. I mean, lots of people here are car people. They love performance. They love, good-looking cars. And at the end of the day, we were talking about it earlier, there's a lot of customer loyalty towards tires, especially for car people. Like, so, having a brand like Falken, dive deep into development for EV tires, it's a game changer for many consumers.
It's huge. And again, in the world of FD, I mean, anything in motorsports, I mean, you've got these brands. I mean, there's everything from Falken to Yokohama to Toyo, and all of these competing elements. And again, that brand loyalty starts to stick, not just because of what you're into for motorsports, but then you go and buy your everyday car. It's like, I'm going to go buy that brand because, hey, if I have a favorite driver, I know it's like, oh, I'll just buy that. It's marketing, too, in a big, big way.
Right. I mean, that's the big thing. It's marketing at the end of the day is the biggest thing that sells the brand, And then when you have people that are on the ground that are helping with the marketing, that are talking to everybody, giving them basically, like I tell everybody, we're show and tell. We give people answers that they cannot find online because there's questions that you may have and you look for it online and it's like, somebody's saying this and then somebody's saying that and then you're getting like 2 or 3 different answers. So instead, the manufacturers here
go to the source.
Come straight to the manufacturer. And then with us as Falken, we are all employees. We're not contracted. We're not third party like a lot of the people that are here. We are actually employees. We work with the guys closely, the engineers and everybody day in and day out. So we are the ones to really ask.
It's such a fun blend of, like, again, these types of conversations. And everybody we talked to yesterday is, again, I have this background of it's automotive and motorsports and also getting into the realm of energy and electrification. That's what's interesting about the EV industry is a lot of people, again, in the charging world, for example, where you've spent most of your career, is it's fundamental to the EV experience without question. But it's one of those fundamentals. It's like, how do we talk about it in a way like motorsports is like, hey, man, that's sexy, that's crazy, we can brand the heck out of that. But the energy aspect of it is something that's people are just so fresh to it. But we're going to start blending those worlds because of things like Expo. I mean, this conversation wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for things like Expo.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. And tires, they're going to make a big impact on your range. We're talking about, range. What's something that used to be called range anxiety? Not a big thing anymore, right?
Not a thing anymore. Not if you're getting a set of tires that goes 50,000 miles.
Exactly.
It's just like, no.
And guess what? Like, better tire is going to give you even less range anxiety.
I think what we're really pointing to on these types of conversations, and Stan, it's cool to hear, like, again, your history of just how you walked into, saying, I like motorsports. I got into FD, and I started, hey, I was a mechanic. I got to meet these teams. There's so many stories like that have been built up in the auto sector for a long time, but then it starts to translate in what's happening with electrification, which is that blending is a big part of why Expo, is to showcase. You can go and test drive the cars and see these things, but then you get to see all these different brands that are making the ownership experience better. And that's the electrification ownership experience is about things like charging, but it's also about, did you get the right set of tires?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, having the right set of tires is the best thing, One thing that I would like to do is maybe put some of our tires on these vehicles out here.
Yeah.
So people can get a first-hand experience. Like, hey, did you go drive this vehicle? Yeah, well, our tires are on that vehicle. So now you can see what our tires like, before you buy it. It's a try before you buy.
Well, and that's important. I mean, tires, at the end of the day, too, they're not exactly cheap. And again, you can go for cheap, but you have a bad experience. But if you want to get a good tire, you want to be confident you're spending those dollars that way.
Yeah, for sure. And how about a side-by-side, same vehicle, different tires? How's that? That would be an amazing one.
I think, okay, we got to talk to BJ about some side-by-side stuff. I mean, we're spitballing good hands-on experience moments here. So, well, Stan, thank you so much for coming by, man. For kind of closing things out, rounding out, where do people find you guys here at the show?
We are down in the outdoor recreation. We're one of the official sponsors for that. So if you want to stop by our booth, come see us. We're actually between Volvo and the Cadillac Ride and Drive. So come say hi to us. It's me and 2 other guys. So come say hi. Come talk tires with us.
Cool. And then for those who hear this after the show, where do they find you guys online? How do they find out more information?
You can find us online at falkentire.com, or Instagram is at falkentire, Facebook at falkentire, stuff like that. So,
cool.
Like I said, we're out there.
That's awesome. All right, well, this is the EV Reality Check booth powered by GreenCars.com. Stan Williams from Falken, from Dual Brand Motorsports. Thank you so much for coming by today. The tire discussion is something that is going to be had by everybody who owns an EV at some point. You got to walk in and get new ones.
Exactly. So, yeah, come by and see us, talk tires with us. Thank you guys for having me.